so you can take it and do whatever you want with it. It will be on you, but it is to help you. You may not have went or may not go through the same thing that I went through and I'm going through, but the purpose of it is to let you know that you can hold on to God and He'll see you through any situation. So as growing up as a young girl, I never wanted to have any children. And the reason being is I would have very bad monthly menstrual cramps. I would have to get sent home in high school on the bus, and that was a bit embarrassing being a young child, out in the county, having to get sent home in a cab. I would have to go to the nurse's station and so on. So I mean, it was a lot, and I know we know a lot of people in our family that go through cramps, and we a lot of times people kind of disregard your cramps as that's just normal. But I'm here to tell you the devil is
most definitely you're not done devil.
So anywho, like I said, I would have them really bad. I would be sick. I would throw up. I couldn't lay a certain way. I couldn't eat food. But of course, when you have to take medicine, you have to eat something, and I couldn't keep food down. So moving forward, that was one of the things that kept me from not wanting. I would say that was the thing that kept me from not wanting to have any children. Mm-hmm. So fast forwarding, my brother and his girlfriend at the time, they had a baby, and I worked at the hospital, and there was a children's hospital connected to my hospital that I worked at. So I would go and see my niece every night that I worked, and it done something to me. Like when I went to go see her, and I'm just thinking in the back of my mind that I never wanted any children, but going to see my niece, how precious she was, and in the NICU, it really done something to me, and it touched me to the point where it's like, okay, now I do want to have children. Fast forward again, now I'm to the point where, okay, I want to have children, but I'm scared because I was taking birth control pills because they supposed to manage your cramps, but they did about like that little, like real little. So I was still afraid to come off my birth control pills because that was somewhat of a comfort blanket for me. So eventually I did come off my birth control pills maybe about 2 years or so ago. And since then, me and my husband has been doing what we need to do to have children. And let me go back. So let me go back because in the beginning, I was still working at the hospital, and one of my friends came to me and said that I had told her that we were supposed to raise money so I can have in vitro fertilization. Now, in vitro fertilization back then was $12,000 plus. So one of the fundraisers that I wanted to do was to do the flavored pickles, and this was just supposed to be a fundraiser.
Turned into something big. Super big.
That's show you what God can do.
Wham, bam, thank you.
Open up a lot of doors there.
So God used what I thought I didn't want to birth out a lot of different things. So this was probably almost 5 years ago when I started just doing the pickles, and like I said, it was just supposed to be a fundraiser, and God has used it continually to open doors that I never thought that would even be open. And I can even say at the present time right here, who would have thought I would have been here right now? So I started off with just one flavored pickle, and that was a cherry Kool-Aid, and that was at my 10th anniversary. And just a little sidebar, me and my husband will be celebrating 15 years on Thursday.
All right.
So I thank God for that.
I see you.
So it was just like I said, we started off, we had a little anniversary dinner, and I just slipped up and made a cherry Kool-Aid pickle. And from then, I would ask people, well, what to do, this and that. People, they ain't giving up their recipe. It's like Fort Knox. It's locked still. You ain't getting in. So, but eventually, but you know what? I understand now. I do understand. I do understand. I do understand. So eventually people would just give me little nuggets. You know, it's like, yeah, we use sugar. Well, yeah, I know it's sugar in there. Yeah, I got that. So I just kept playing with it until now we have 10 flavors of pickles. And like I said, God started this off as just a fundraiser, then he opened it up for a ministry, then he opened up to a business, because this allows me to get into the door. And when I get in the door, then I have to talk about God. Amen. Because this is God. This is God. So I testified probably, I can't even remember, but I wanted to share my testimony at church, because it's easy to get up after God has done something. It's easy to get up and say what he did, but you don't hear a lot of times people getting up saying, God promised me a child, children, and I want to testify about it beforehand, because I want to give God praise before, because I already know. And my pastor today corrected us. He said, God, we're going to erase promises. We're going to erase promises. We're going to say covenant, because covenant is going to come to pass. It's going to surely come to pass. So when you say I'm standing on God's promises, say I'm standing on God's covenants. So I just thank God. And even though God has not done it, it hasn't manifested yet, it's going to work. It's going. And I'm standing on it, and I just thank God again for being here. This is awesome. Like I said, we started off with 1 flavor pickle. Now we have 10, and it's just more and more and more. Yes.
Plus she has some dip.
That dip out of sight. I was like, I just told myself, what are crackers? Chips or something. Right. I'm sorry. Did you ever look at it like, that's your baby?
Exactly.
I did. So, and I'm gonna tell you how it was one situation where I had a customer, and she was like ordering them for her job, and she tried to mishandle them, and I told her, you don't get to take my label off my jars. You don't get to scratch my name off my jar. That's my baby.
Exactly.
That's my baby. Now, I don't know how you treat your baby. I don't know how much you care about your baby, but that's my baby. You will not handle my baby like that. So, yes.
That was good.
Yes.